George, I know you'll be so gutted. I mean, ultimately the gamble didn't pay off, but you can't beat yourself up for trying.
No, I think it was a 50-50 call at the beginning of those 25 minutes of no rain, but we spent 15 minutes behind virtual safety car. And as soon as we got going, at the end we were 5 seconds a lap quicker than the Inter runners, but then the rain came. In hindsight, of course, it's easy to say we probably risked too much, and then the last pit stop I probably went too early. I risked too much, but I wasn't expecting the hard tyre. Just a terrible day. Hurts me a lot, to be honest, to have a day like that here as my home Grand Prix. You play it conservatively, we probably would have been, P3, P4, P5. It's better than where we ended up, but that wasn't what we were going for.
Yeah, but I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
and it is impossible to predict this weather. Just explain to anyone who doesn't know how certain parts of the track can be markedly different to others.
Yeah, I mean, the track's 6 kilometres, almost 6 kilometres long, and at some points it was bone dry, and 2 corners were soaking wet, and they're the corners that you might be going round 5 seconds slower than the Inter tyres, but you're going around the rest of the track 5 seconds quicker. It's not easy. You play it safe, you're going to get a safe result. We went big. If there was no VSC at the beginning of the race and we had 25 minutes clear, maybe everybody on the slicks would have been into the lead, and then you would have said that was an amazing decision. We can't plan for virtual safety cars. We planned for 25 minutes of dry running, and I believe the dry tyre was the best tyre for 25 minutes. We got 10 minutes. So yeah, just a really, really bad day.
Well, I suppose Formula One is all about having strength in your convictions, so
Yeah.
can't blame yourself for that.
It's, obviously I'm just very disappointed now. It's one of those, if you've got the car pace, you can afford to play it safe, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to come out on top. If you don't, it's so tight between everybody else now. If you want a good result, you do need to be a little bit brave, and it's as brave staying out on the track and not pitting as it is to pit. There's quite a few drivers who did pit. Didn't work out.
When do you think you will have the luxury of being able to be conservative because you have got that performance in the car?
Hopefully soon, but it's unfortunately this year we know we're not in the fight with McLaren. They're the dominant team. We're doing everything we can to get the team back on top, but it's not going to be this year.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Tough debrief, that one, with Toto in his flat cap.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? They did jump to the slicks quite early, but you don't jump to slicks early and put a hard tyre on. You're the one you're taking a risk jumping to slicks early anyway. So I don't know why you would put the hard tyre on. Obviously they're worried about the medium and the soft graining, but it's either they grain a little bit and you lose a tiny bit of time, or you go spinning many times. So I don't understand.
No, yeah, and there we go. There is the flat cap, and there is. He wasn't happy. I don't think happy all day. I kind of. Maybe you sort of understand the fact that they're going to take a risk, because if you're going to win the British Grand Prix, it might have paid off for him, but for the heavy rain coming on. But again,
it was a risk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Even just stopping was a risk.
Of course it was.
But they also took that risk twice, didn't they? So,
Yes.
I mean, they didn't learn from the first mistake they made going very early at the beginning, and you've got to really take your hat off to George, because I think he's had a fantastic weekend. Despite all the odds yesterday, he put that lap together to put himself in a great position. And then despite everything that happened today with the decisions they made of when to pit him and what tyres to put him on, he still drove an incredible race to come back several times. I mean,
I don't know if he was asked the question either
Yeah.
about what tyre would you like on the car. Because as a driver, I don't think he would have chosen to put the hard tyre on.
No, but actually, when you looked at the McLaren pace on the Inters, when it was wet, he was 2 seconds a lap quicker than everybody else. Wasn't
Yeah,
he?
exactly.
So, you're not going to win the British Grand Prix in those conditions against that anyway. So there we are. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, I suppose, for the Mercedes. Right, Max Verstappen again. Well,